To create your book cover in Pages, the first thing you're going to do is collect at least one really good image that you want on that cover. So we're going to use images.google.com. Of course, you can go to Google and just click on images, or you can go directly with that address. It's going to take you over here to the images page, as you can see. I'm going to look for something like tree silhouette. I like the sound of that because it's got the right feel for the thing I'm going to be doing. When you're looking, a good idea is to show the options here where it says Image Options, Show Options, and choose Large. Large is going to only produce images in the results that are big enough to stretch across the whole cover that you might be using. And I kind of like either one of these two here. This one's really big. You can tell the size by reading the number of kilobytes, or K, down at the bottom. 2692K right there. I'm going to use this one here. It's 110 kilobytes, and I'm going to see how that's going to stretch. I'm going to click on that, of course, and enlarge it by going to see full size when it comes up. And here's the full size of it. It's not going to fit in the screen that I'm broadcasting with, but that's okay. You'll get the idea. I'm going to control click on that and choose Save Image As. And of course, I like to store things temporarily on my desktop, so this is called Silhouette Tree, and I like that name. And I'm going to save that on my desktop right now. And before I leave this website, I'm also going to save the address where it came from. That's the URL up top. So I'm going to double click in here and just copy that. You can do copy any number of ways, of course. So I've got my image stored. Now it's time to get over to Pages. So I'm going to pull this out of the way. If you don't have Pages down in your dock, then you have to go dig it up out of the Applications folder on your hard drive. It hides in a folder called iWork09. So let's open up iWork09, and there's Pages. It's going to pop up here, and under the first thing it gives me is the choice of what I want to make. The template chooser comes up here, and I want a word processing blank document. I don't want page layout or poster or anything like that. We're just going to use word processing blank document to start. I'm going to double click on that. Of course, it opens up in its usual screen here. The first thing I want to do there is see it the way it's actually going to print. So I'm going to click on the word View and go down to Show Layout. Layout's going to show me the boundaries and margins that are there, and I can see that there's a header up there and there's a regular text box. I don't want the header, so I'm going to click on the word Inspector, and that's going to pop up the little inspector window, of course. And on the very first icon, that's a place where I can uncheck header and footer to get rid of those parts of the document. I don't need those in the way. So I'm going to pull this out of the way right now, just for a second. I've got this set up. I'm not going to change the margins on that inspector page. So with that ready to go, I can insert the image that I want to use. And that's going to be up at the very top where we can't quite see that from where I'm recording, but up at the very top is the word Image. I'm going to go down the image list to the bottom of it to the word Choose. That opens up a browser so that I can look through my desktop, and I want to find that thing called Tree Silhouette that I put down there. That image that I took, Silhouette Tree, there it is, and I'm going to click Insert. Now, of course, I used Insert instead of Copy and Paste. Usually get better results with that, and also gives you some more options in terms of saving your work. I can resize this now, but the first thing I want to do is I want to make it free to move around the page. When you put it into Pages, it's stuck in line, as they say, first of all. So to unstick it, to get it to be a floating image, go back to the inspector, click on the third icon from the top, called Object Placement, and click on Floating. That says it doesn't move with the text, you can actually move it around. So that's going to allow me now, I'll move this out of the way, that's going to allow me to move this picture up and down on the screen. And of course I'm kind of taking it down out of the view where you can't see it so well, just because that's the way this is arranged. But from here, I can now go up and click on Text Box. Text box is going to appear. I can type in the title. Wind in the Trees is going to be the title of my book. And then I can put in my name, or I'm going to make one up here. Mutant. And I know I can't see that yet, but I'm going to have to do some formatting. To do that, click away and then click back on the text box so that I can drag it around. I'm going to put it up here where I can see it. Highlight these words, start using the text formatting that's available. And of course I'll have to be expanding that box to be able to get the words where I want them. And then I think I'm going to put my name, or the name of this author, in a little bit smaller text so it doesn't show up quite as much. There we go. And then I'm going to color them, whatever color I like. Of course, we can do all that just by choosing the options that are available right there in Pages. Okay, last thing you're going to need to do is create another text box. And in there, we want to paste that address that we took off the internet page where I got that picture. Here it is. And I opened it up, didn't want to click on that. Sorry about that. I'm going to move that little box, and I'm going to move it all the way down to the bottom of the page, although just so that you can see what I'm doing. I'm not really at the bottom. I'm going to pretend I'm at the bottom. I'm going to drag this out so that it's wide enough to go all the way across. And then I'm going to write something like image source to give credit for where this picture came from. Image source, colon, and I'll put it down on that line. And then you can color that text also if you want to make it match up with what we've got up above. Finally, we want to save this by going to the word File, Save. And of course I put things on my desktop, so I'm going to put it there, flip cover. And actually I'm going to put my last name with it, because if you're going to send this to me to print, I kind of need to know who to get it back to. I mean, it would be helpful. Depends on how you send it to me. So your last name or first name in there would be helpful in your document title or your file name. Save it there. And then finally, last thing to do is to go to File and export it. When we export it, we're going to turn it into a PDF file. That way you can send it to me easily. I don't have to have the Pages program running to open it. So I'd like you to be able to do that. So change it to a PDF file, put it on your desktop, and then open your mail, or you can do it through the network by putting it in a folder and letting me know about it. However you want to get it to me. I want you to send me the PDF version if you want me to print it. Of course, you're free to print it at your own printer at home, and you might get a better result actually, because our printer is having some trouble right now. It leaves a little bit of a line on there. In any case, that's the whole process, and hopefully it's going to produce a good book cover for you.